Okay, let's see. Hey, Dawn, can you hear me? Dawn, I can't hear you. Shoot. Dawn, can you hear me? I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Let's see. Sorry, guys. We gotta wait till this gets started correctly. Let me just see what's going on with Dawn.
All right, can you hear me now?
Hello?
Can you hear me now?
Now I can hear you.
Cool.
Okay, so it looks like we're live on YouTube, but LinkedIn, I think something may have went wrong there.
Okay, while you check that out, I'll answer Gary's question. So Gary asked, once the video is made, where does it get stored? Is there a storage limit? So Gary, we host all of our videos in two places by default. First is on our own storage on Amazon Web Services. And then also by default, we upload that video to Vimeo.com for you. And we host that on a completely unbranded, sort of unlisted Vimeo account. And the whole reason for that is so it makes it really easy for you to go ahead and share that video out with your audience without having to worry about where you're hosting it or worrying about the branding of the video. Um, so yeah, that's where the videos are hosted. There's no limit on the storage. We just take care of all that for you. And when you generate videos, we give you the direct link so you can get the S3 link from Amazon or the Vimeo link. So how you want to use it is up to you.
Okay, so I'm gonna share my BHuman tab. Okay, can you see that okay, Dawn?
It's just loading. Just give it a minute.
Okay.
And
Sorry,
while we
guys.
wait,
My first live stream, so I'm just making sure I get set up good.
easy on her. So Gary asks, can you connect to Zapier to say, one, when to make a new video and the name of the person, and two, receive notification when the videos are ready? So short answer is yes, Gary. The first case, absolutely. Basically, you choose a trigger. That trigger would be anything. That's when you generate a new video. So, for example, when there's a new form completion in HubSpot, or maybe when someone signs up for a newsletter or abandons cart on your store. And then, of course, you can pass that data into BHuman through Zapier. I'll be making a Zapier tutorial, I think tomorrow. I'll let Melissa get it up on YouTube, so we'll get into all that. But yeah, you can pass that data in so we know what variables to make the video with. And then the second thing is receive notification when the videos are ready. So in that flow, that's already built in already. So like once you generate the video on Zapier with BHuman, that's like your second step after the trigger. Then the third step is, okay, you can now, if you want to send that out over email, you want to put it back into your CRM perhaps, right? And it only does that third next step once that video is done generating. So probably that solves your use case, but if not, just let us know.
All right, so I'll get started by just giving you guys pretty simple walkthrough of the platform. Our platform is more simple than you might think when you're just getting started. So that's one thing that I wanted to emphasize is when you get started, You may feel a little overwhelmed, but it's actually way easier than you think it's going to be, way easier than you're making it. Um, so, one thing before I get into showing you the campaign and using easy mode is just how to film your videos. So, we recommend being about 4 feet distance away from the camera. Um, that's only because you'll just notice your mouth movement less, which we are improving, and we have an amazing model coming very soon. But in the meantime, there's just a few workarounds like that. So being that distance, and then also just making sure you have the right lighting. So now when we say the right lighting, we don't mean the beautiful, bright, aesthetically pleasing lighting all the time. You're gonna have to play around with it in different spaces and rooms, and see what works best for you. But usually, just a little bit darker lighting, low light in front of a window works. I've seen someone film in front of like an ocean view. Um, it was beautiful, but they were a little bit darker, so you didn't notice their mouth as much. So that's another good way to do it, is in front of a window, kind of a cool way to do it. Another way you could go about it is background mode, um, which I did create a campaign using that right there, and I'll show you guys the outcome. But it looks like a Loom video. So your video of yourself talking, saying the personalized variables is very small in the corner in a circle, just like Loom. So it is small. You won't notice your mouth being off if it is. Um, so that's just some filming guidelines. Definitely play around with it as you're getting started. You'll you'll nail it once you find like the perfect filming spot. And hopefully we don't even have to worry about that for that much longer anymore. Okay, so this is the campaign section. So I made this a live stream sample for you guys. So let me just go back here. Okay, so this is what will be shown to you when you're creating a campaign. So, as you go through the steps to create a campaign, it will give you some options like just inputting your industry, use case for the campaign. Um, so I named this live stream sample, and then we have Google Sheets and MailChimp coming soon. Those aren't out yet, but what will happen is you'll see CSV and Zapier. Those will be clickable. It's just because I already made this campaign for you guys. So usually, if you want to insert a CSV, I made a sample one with just two names, email, phone, website, because we're doing background mode. For background mode, if you were going to do more than one background, for instance, adding a LinkedIn profile, then you just want to make sure in your CSV you have a column for LinkedIn. Um, so you could do that. You can upload your CSV, or you can connect it to Zapier, which automates it for you. Definitely look into Zapier. They have so many options. They connect with so many different things. So it could probably work to your advantage. So uploaded my CSV file, and then it will ask you to just map your column headers to video variables. So simply what you're personalizing. So um, this would be clickable when you're creating the campaign. But I just chose name because I'm personalizing the name. So that's what will come up. Anything you have on your CSV file, all the titles of your columns, those will come up under here where you choose a variable. Okay, so then for background mode, what I did, I just did a simple website for this example. But so I did website for the whole video. If I chose a new column as a background, just let's say it was an email, even though it doesn't make any sense. You can there's a few options for background modes. So you could do direct link to image or video, public website to screenshot. That's what I did for these websites. Um, And then LinkedIn profile is another really good one because you can look like you're looking at someone's profile. And then you can always set the timing. So you could either do show for whole video duration, or you could do the timing like 0 to 5 seconds. And the cool thing about background mode is you can do more than one background. So if I just did a website, public website to screenshot, then my next thing, maybe I'm uploading a pitch deck or something like that, then I can set the time so I could do like 5 seconds in to 10 seconds, whatever you want to do. Okay, so after that, right here would say generate videos, so that's what you would click. I'll go back here and just show you guys what happens. So after your videos are generated, then all your videos will appear here. Few minutes for a few videos. Dawn can get into the duration of waiting for them to generate a little bit more, but for a few of them, it should only take a few minutes. It kind of depends on how many you're doing. But of course, you can press view video and that will just directly download it. And then you can also press the Vimeo link. So I'll show you what I did with background mode. I did the website for the whole duration of the video. I don't think you'll be able to hear it. So
Julia,
looks like,
you'll need to share your other tab, by the way,
oh,
because you're
okay.
sharing the BHuman tab, yeah.
Yes.
And
Let
while you
me
do
get
that,
the video.
quick note, like Julie mentioned, the duration of a video, like how long does it take to generate videos? One thing we're doing is we'll be adding in an estimated time to generate however many videos that you want to generate. So if it's five, we'll tell you estimated time like 7 minutes. If it's 500, estimated time 23 minutes. We'll put that in there for you because I know a couple people have been sort of lost. Just as a note, if a video or any batch of videos is taking more than like a couple hours, it means that probably something's not right. Either the video's failed in the back end, or for some reason not showing on the front end. So in that case, just let us know. We'll take care of it for you. And on that note, Gary asks how long for, let's say, 100 videos in background mode with each showing a different LinkedIn profile, where the video is 1 minute in length. Um, I would say, Gary, about 20-ish minutes, somewhere there, maybe up to 25. The way it works is like it scales really quickly. So generating one video might take 3 minutes, right? But then generating 10 is maybe 7 or 8, and then 100, maybe 20, 1,000 maybe is like an hour. So again, it also depends, as you mentioned, like just one LinkedIn background. But if you have like 5 backgrounds, it might take a little bit longer because there's more to do. Um, Gary said that's fast. Actually, we see this as like a little bit slow. Like we're working on now, making it even faster. So great. All right, Julie, I'll let you continue on.
Okay, you could see my Vimeo tab now. Okay, so this is what it looks like.
Hi, Julia.
Welcome to BHuman. So made a super short sample video for you guys, and I made the website the whole duration. As you can see, my picture is small, so you would never even notice my lips, but I do have good lighting there in that video. So fun to play around with. Let me go back to the BHuman studio.
And also just to jump in there. So Julia, your video there is literally, I don't know, 3 seconds long, right? Which is why the voice clone at the start of it wasn't that great, because basically the voice clone needs more to look at to say voice sound like. So when you actually record your real video, I recommend like at least 40 seconds plus. A minute is usually really good. I've seen videos that are like 10 seconds long and the voice clone's perfect. So it's not a hard rule, but if you're not happy with your voice clone, usually it's one of two things. Either you have a lot of background noise or echo in your video, or your video is super, super short. So there's not enough data for us to even look at. Yeah.
Yes, good point. Definitely want to point that out for sure. Okay, so that's where you see your generated videos, and then this would be where you share all your videos. So for email, text, you just go right here email, you would select the email that you are sending them from. So I would do Julia at BHuman. And then here, you would just pretty much type in the subject and the body of the email. So you just want to make sure that you click these buttons as you're typing things in. So you want to say, hey, click the name. So we'll just add that in there. And you can say, check this out, whatever you want to say. And then delay between emails, we recommend 10 to 60. I'll put 15. And then the body is kind of the same thing as the subject. You want to say, hey, name. Oops.
And while you do that, Julia, so Gary asked, do you need to record separately each person's name? And absolutely not. This is one of the beautiful things about Be Human is that every single video you record, we're cloning your voice from that video itself. So you don't have to record training phrases for us. You don't have to record names. And of course, we can clone much more than a name. Essentially, any text you put in, be it like a city, a company, an industry. So you can get really creative with it. Now, if you want to say it manually, then we provide the option for that, but by default, we clone your voice automatically.
Okay.
Um, yeah, and then also, real quick, sorry to interrupt, Julia. On the subject line, a really good best practice is always mention there's like a video message inside, because that's going to get you the best open rates.
Right. So you want to say, check this video out, or just shot this for you. Something attention grabbing. Same thing, should be a little bit better than just check this video out, I guess, in the body, but something to capture their attention, like Dawn said, and just make sure you're pressing these little buttons when you're inserting things. So I press the name, the Vimeo link, um,
Yeah.
and that will all be there. And then before you send it out to all your recipients, you would just send yourself a sample email. You'll get the email, and you just want to make sure it all looks good. And then the same thing for text. Um, you would choose the phone number, like we chose the email. In your text, you just have one body, there's no subject, of course, and it's the same thing for email. Just make sure you're getting those buttons in there: thumbnail, Vimeo, and then the name, of course. So that's how sharing it all works. We also have the API option there you can play around with. You can download your CSV, um, and sharing through LinkedIn is coming soon, so that's awesome. Dawn, you have anything you want to add right here?
Yeah, I would just say that those tags like name, email, website, like that's all coming from your original data. So if you want to mention someone's industry, maybe just in text, not even in your video, right? Make sure that's one of the columns in your uploaded data, um, be it for email or for SMS. And then the last thing is like Leader, which is our LinkedIn automation platform that sits within BHuman. Um, that is going live very, very, very soon. We're very excited for that because one of the biggest challenges that we've seen is like distribution. So I always say a campaign is three things: it's data, it's content, it's distribution. So the first is like if any of these things are not really, really solid, the whole campaign will fail. It's kind of like called like a three-legged stool. So if any of the legs break, the stool falls over. And data is simply, all right, who are you reaching out to? Will the email addresses or whatever you're reaching out to, will it bounce back? Are they valid? Things like that. Then the content. This is of course what BHuman focuses on. Generating video, right? It's personalized, that it's going to get attention and make people think you just filmed it for them. So that's an extremely powerful way to do it. And then distribution. So how do you then send the videos, right? If you're going over email, like how are you thinking about like warming up your email account so you don't go into spam filters? Or how do you scale that? Or you have 20 different email accounts across 20 campaigns, or going on the LinkedIn side of it, right? And we found that when it comes to distribution, hands down, the easiest way to go about it is through LinkedIn or SMS. SMS is amazing in terms of the open rates and response rates. Like we had a campaign. Hey, Kessler said that we just got to 1,000 subscribers. That's awesome on YouTube. Uh, but coming back to what I was saying, we had a campaign where it was an automotive dealership, and they were getting a 72% reply rate on their outbound SMS messages. So SMS is really powerful to have that data. But if you're doing more B2B outreach, you can't use SMS because you usually don't have those numbers. So you have to go through LinkedIn is usually what we recommend. So that's why we built that into the platform. And then, so got a question by Radiant, by Ratilia Saloon and Mini Spa. Is it the same process if I want to embed this into my website? The variant being person focusing on self-care. So when you say embed it into your website, how exactly would you do that? Because there's a couple ways to go about it. You could have it so it's like somebody fills out a form and then they get the video, let's say, sent to their email or their phone number. Or you could then send that video. So I'm assuming you're doing this in Zapier, right? Then you send that video back to your website. And then you show that video on the website itself. The thing to keep in mind, for the most of the times it'll take 2 to 3 minutes to get that video back. So you need to tell the user, all right, wait 2 to 3 minutes and then show that video again. Alternatively, a workaround is to generate, let's say, like a couple thousand videos in advance for common names and store those on your website platform and then show it. But like how exactly you do it depends on what platform you're using to build your site. How they pronounced it right. Is that helpful? Like if you want, if you can give me more details on your platform, what platform you're using for your site, I can maybe guide you further on exactly how you want to do it.
All right, so maybe what I'll do is just show you guys easy mode really quick. I love easy mode because it's easy, which is why we created it. Most people want to just replace the name. So what we did was we made it where if you're just replacing the name, all you have to do is film on easy mode and it will be like 1 or 2 seconds and then you'll hear a beep and that's when you'll start talking. So you don't need to say hey name anymore when using easy mode. You simply after the beep just talk after you would say hey name. So I'll show you how that works. So you just press create my videos, create a new video. Let's give it a name. Okay. And I'll use my desktop because we want to use easy mode. If you uploaded the recording, that would be where you have to use advanced mode. You just want to make sure you're uploading something that says hey name or we love company, whatever you're personalizing, but desktop, when you film on here, you can use easy mode. So tutorial pops up, so you just want to make sure you go through that and watch it. Okay, so this is really cool. This is where it will generate a script for you. So I'll say, and of course, this is optional. You don't need to use this script, but it is pretty cool to use. So you just upload whatever info you want to put, generate new scripts, and that will get those for you. It should give you like 3 or so options to choose from. And then you can always use that script as a guide too. Like you don't have to use it word for word. You can edit it a little bit. So that's loading. Um,
While that's loading in there, so Ratilia, let me know if that answers your question. Like, I think the best way to do it would be have a Zapier flow that gets triggered whenever someone fills out a form. And then you can do that all in Zapier. So the trigger is like, I'm assuming, let's say, for example, you're using Wix, right? So the trigger is Wix new form, and then BHuman generate video, and then send it out, let's say, like through a Gmail connection. Um, I noticed we get a lot of requests for Zapier, so what I'll do is I'll make a video tutorial on that. We already have a lot of articles, but I'll make a tutorial to make it really, really simple, and maybe I'll use your use case exactly where you tell you to do that. And then Gary asked, can you control the file name to auto put their name and say name? What are your thoughts? So when you say file, then Gary, when we send this out in any sort of channel, email, SMS, LinkedIn, we're never actually sending the file itself. We're never attaching the file. What we're doing is sending for you by default. Now, of course, you could download the S3 links we provide you, the Amazon links, and you could then do what you want with that. But you shouldn't ever send an attachment. It's just not really scalable. So because we're sending that link, it's just like vimeo.com/, and then a bunch of numbers and letters. There's no really name to it that we can put. So let me know if that answers your question.
All right, so as you could see, it generated a few scripts for you, so you can edit them if you want, or just go with one of them. You can also skip and say whatever you want. Um, I'll press select this first script. So this is what will happen. I hope you're doing well. My name is Julia, and I run a marketing business that helps companies like yours generate more leads and increase their revenue. Didn't mean to start it that fast, but as you can see, it started for like 1 second and then beeped, and then I just read the script. So we'll press save, and I'm very close to the camera right now. This wouldn't be the best way to film, but just for the sake of the video, just showing you how easy mode is. So your video will appear right here, your script, finish. Okay, and then this is where you can either preview a sample. So you can write a name here, generate sample. That way you can see the sample before going and creating a new campaign with it. But if you like your video, then you would create a new campaign with it, which is what I showed you before with my background mode campaign. This is your transcript. So easy mode, you don't have to highlight anything. If you were using advanced mode, this is where you would highlight things. And then campaigns using this. I didn't make one yet. So that's where that will happen. Your generated videos for samples. Then if I were to create a new campaign, this is where you would put like your industry, use case, create campaign, and then this is where you would upload CSV, integrate with Zapier. Once you upload the CSV, it would appear right here. This is where you choose your variable once you have that CSV. So everything I walked you through before. So super easy and simple. Let's look at any more questions we have. Anyone have questions about easy mode in particular? And Dawn, if you have any input for easy mode or advanced mode.
Sure, we got a question again. So is it correct that BHuman is just for SMS and email reply because it personalizes the client's experience? Yeah, so basically, there's like two ways to use BHuman that I like to, think about it this way. It's like there's either a one-off campaign where it's like, okay, I have a list of, 1,000 people, maybe there are a bunch of leads that I collected over the past month. I want to re-engage all of them. I'll send them a video. And then there's trigger-based. And trigger-based is where things really are crazy successful. Like I've never seen a trigger-based campaign that hasn't been wildly successful in terms of increasing rates, which is to say like whenever a user takes some sort of action, then do something like generate a video and then send it out, right? And the reason it's worked so well is because there's already such high momentum in that moment, right? Like the user is in that shopping experience. They're like on your site, they're looking at things, and then to then get what they think is a video you just recorded 10 minutes later is going to just blow them away, but get them at the right time, more importantly, like not the next day when their mind is somewhere else. So in terms of the channel, like email is great, like SMS is amazing if you have the data for it, and then you can do SMS, like you have permission to send them a text message, because the it's so powerful because like SMS, like we all, I think the SMS open rate's like 95% or something crazy. So it's really powerful. Um, so Rachel asked, uh, do we have something like a chatbot? So we do have something like a chatbot that's called Persona. It's a project that is still very much in beta. It's not our main product, which is what we're going through now. What this is about is generating personalized videos at scale. So as Julia showed you from the beginning, you start with a template video, which is you saying something like, "Hey, name, thanks so much for your interest in our spa. I was looking over our calendar. You know, we have a free appointment available on day," for example. And then whatever you want it to be, we can then generate a video of you saying, "Hey, Megan, thanks so much for your interest. We have an appointment available on Thursday," for example. Or, "Hey, Jason, yada, yada, yada. We have appointment available for you on Friday." Um, that's what the main product that you're watching right here is all about. Cool.
All right, so if there's no more questions, trying to think if there's any last things to cover, maybe just any updates coming soon that our people are asking about.
Sure, yeah. So, there's so many, honestly. We're working on so many things. So, improve lip sync. So we had a really like big update that we were waiting on, but instead of keeping the wait for that because it needs a little bit more time, we're pushing out an update to our current model. So we're just basically training it on more data, so it's going to be more accurate. Out early next week, we'll let you know when that's live, and you'll notice the results better using the platform next week in terms of mouth movements. Additionally, there's that LinkedIn automation, right? We have an integration with make.com, integration with Pably, Persona, which is that video chatbot. That's coming onto this new UI as well, so you can use that again. Um, there's a lot of things we're working on. Um, yeah.
Another,
Oh,
oh,
additionally,
sorry.
sorry, I almost forgot, because there's so many things. The green screen mode as well. So this is really cool. So if you recording your template video, and let's say like you want to show your prospects like website, right? You want to say, "Hey, I'm looking at your site," for example. Well, all you'd have to do is put a solid color on either a phone or like any sort of screen. You get a piece of paper, and then you select that color when you're creating your campaign and say, "Okay, I want to show." Let's say like the same way you use background mode, where you say, you know, show a screenshot of this column of these websites, show that, but on like on my phone here, so you can actually make use green screens. So that's really really cool, or even use a green screen behind you as well. Um, and so someone schedules a pedicure, I can send a video saying, "Hey, I noticed you scheduled. Are you a diabetic?" Exactly right. So you personalize the first name. And the whole point of this, Ritually, is that people think they get that you just recorded this video for them. So they're blown away by it. They feel really special, really cared for. They feel like it's a really personable experience. Of course, this is all automated, right? Um, so you could say something like, "Hey, name, I noticed you just booked an appointment. I'm so excited to have you here. I had a couple questions beforehand to make sure that you get the best experience. I wanted to know, you know, are you a diabetic? This, that, and the other. You can ask those questions over video, and they're gonna think you just recorded that for them. So it's a really human and like personal way to engage with your clients. Cool. How's Julie doing? This is her first live stream. How'd she do? And by the way, if you want any content, like more like how-to videos or articles about a specific thing that you feel like there's just not enough information on, let us know, and we'll definitely make more content around that.
Yes. And one other thing that I wanted to end off on is if you feel like you sound different than yourself when the personalized variable, when that happens and you're like, that sounds different than my voice. It most likely doesn't. Me and Dawn always talk about this, how, you listen so hard to yourself because you know your voice so well, but to most people it like sounds exactly the same. So our recommendation for that is to just send your video to your family, friends, whoever, post it on your story, see if people notice anything about it. Most people don't notice anything. So definitely fun to play around with.
Great point. There's kind of like a knowledge bias, which is like, the video is sort of manipulated in some way in advance, so you're like looking like a hawk for that moment, right? But your audience, they just think that you made a video. They don't know at the 3 second mark we're gonna change their name, right? So they're not hyper focused like you are in that moment. So what we always do, standard practice, like especially when we work with enterprise clients, is we'll do like a blind test, which means like Julia said, generate a couple of videos, then take it and be like, just send it to a friend or someone, and say, hey, like, what do you think about this? Don't, tell them I use AI. Like, do you see it? Just say, what do you think? And if they say, oh, like, I loved your delivery, you seem really confident, or I think like maybe your call to action could have been more clear, then it passed the blind test because they didn't say, oh, I noticed that when you said first name, it sounded really funny. Like, did you, generate that somehow? And you'd be surprised, like sometimes I make a video and I'm like, I should refilm that in different lighting. It didn't come out that great. And I run a blind test and nobody notices a thing. So keep that in mind as well. Cool.
All right, so if there's any last questions, I don't think so. We can end this. Okay, no last questions. You don't see any, Dawn? I don't see any.
Nope.
All
Rachel
right,
says, don't forget to like this video, like and subscribe.
get the YouTube channel going.
All right.
Okay,
All
guys.
right.
Well, thanks for letting me host my first live stream.
Thank you, Julia. Thanks, everyone.
We'll see you Thursdays, the next one, 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time.
Perfect.
Okay,
All right.
see
Take
you
care.
guys.
Bye bye.